Did you know that Pontius Pilate reportedly wrote a letter to Roman Emperor Tiberius about Jesus? In this letter, Pilate is said to have discussed Jesus' miracles, his trial, his crucifixion, and even, wait for it, his resurrection. What exactly did Pilate say about the resurrection of the Son of God? The letter also includes remarkable details about Jesus' appearance, details not even mentioned in the Gospels. And what about the Pilate Stone? Discovered in 1961 at the archeological site of Caesarea Maritima, this artifact provides critical historical insight. What does it reveal about the time of Jesus' crucifixion? That's what we're diving into today. A document exists known as the Acts of Pilate. It was first contained in an apocryphal book, the Acts of Peter and Paul, said to be written in the 1st century, but it was included intact as an earlier original document, supposedly from Pilate himself. It was also then included in a 4th century apocryphal book, the Gospel of Nicodemus. But is it a factual account, or a factual account that was embellished a little by Christians, or totally fabricated? Scholars are divided. Some ancient writers believe that Pilate did send such a report, and it makes some sense as, in the report, Pilate indicates that Herod Antipas was speaking badly of Pilate to Caesar, and Pilate wanted to defend himself before the emperor. That is a logical reason to have written a report. And one must ask if anyone fabricating a report would have added a detail like this. It really seems unlikely. In 138 AD, Justinmar, the early church father, wrote to Roman Emperor Antonius Pius and referred him to Pilate's report these exact words. This exact report, this is a key piece of evidence. Obviously, the report was common knowledge in and around 150 AD and was preserved in the imperial archives in Rome. Here is part of what Justinmar wrote to Caesar. And after he was crucified, those who crucified him cast lots for his garments and divided them among themselves to make them more satisfied. Then another church father, Tertullian, relayed an account that Tiberius Caesar even tried to have Jesus added to the Roman pantheon of gods based on Pilate's report. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know. There is no record of it in the Roman archives, but it does show that at least early Christians held the Acts of Pilate in high regard. Not only did Christians hold it in high regard, but the enemies of the cross did as well. Pontius Pilate's letter to Emperor Tiberius serves as a crucial historical artifact, shedding light on the events surrounding Jesus Christ's crucifixion. Let's see inside details of the letter. Pontius Pilate to Tiberius Caesar, the emperor, greeting. There has appeared in these our days a man of great virtue named Jesus Christ, who is yet living among our people and of the Gentiles is accepted as a prophet of truth. But his own disciples call him the Son of God. He raised the dead and cured all manner of diseases. A man of stature, somewhat tall and comely, with a very reverend countenance, such as the beholders may both love and fear. His hair is of the color of a chestnut, full ripe, plain to his ears, whence downward it is more orient and curling and wavering about his shoulders. In the midst of his head is a seam or partition of his hair, after the manner of the Nazarites. His forehead plain and very delicate, his face without spot or wrinkle, beautified with a lovely red. His nose and mouth so formed as nothing can be reprehended. His beard thickish in color like his hair, not very long, but forked. His look innocent and mature. His eyes gray, clear, and quick in reproving. He is terrible in admonishing, courteous and fair-spoken, pleasant in conversation, mixed with gravity. It cannot be remembered that any have seen him laugh, but many have seen him weep. In proportion of body, most excellent, his hands and arms most delectable to behold. In speaking, very temperate, modest, and wise. A man, for his singular beauty, surpassing the children of men. But at length the chief priest, moved with envy against him to take away his life, with one accusatorial, who betrayed him and with violence drew him to me, who, being examined by me concerning the basis of their accusations, answered them with much modesty and with no sign of reluctance, though he was at times adorned with great eloquence. I asked him what religion he was, and he replied, O Caesar, I am a king, but my kingdom is not of this world. I then inquired of him if he were a god, and he answered, Thou sayest it, for I am the truth and the life. I am the good shepherd, the door." In the midst of these proceedings, the great tumults of the Jews striving to overthrow him, I ordered that he should be crucified according to their law. And in that very hour that he was crucified, there was darkness over all the world, the sun being darkened at midday, and the stars appearing in their brightness. And the moon, as if turned into blood, failed in her light, the universe being thus darkened. The dead that lay in their graves rose, and appeared unto many. I hastened to take water, and wash my hands of the blood of this just person, the like of whom hath never been before. As you read this letter, part of the report, one thing that is manifestly noticeable is the great length Pilate went to describe Jesus. Why? The answer is simple. At the time, there were no image capturing devices, so when describing someone of importance, great care is given to the physical attributes of the person. With this description, Jesus would have been recognized by the reader in person or in other reports. The letter continues. Recent events in my province have been of such a character that I thought I would give the details as they have occurred, as I should not be surprised if in the course of time they may change the destiny of our nation. For it seems of late that the gods have ceased to be propitious. I am almost most ready to say, cursed be the day that I succeeded Valerius Gratus in the government of Judea. It seemed to me of all conquered cities, Jerusalem was the most difficult to govern. So turbulent were the people that I lived in momentary dread of an insurrection. To suppress it, I had but a single centurion and a handful of soldiers. I requested a reinforcement from the prefect of Syria, who informed me that he had scarcely troops sufficient to defend his own province. An innate thirst for conquest to extend our empire beyond the means of defending it, I fear, will be the means of destroying our noble empire. As you can see, those were the words of Pontius Pilate. Pause and reflect on the significance of this passage. Pilate's communication to Caesar suggests a startling revolution. Jerusalem's defense rested upon a single centurion within his cohort, typically comprised of only a few soldiers. Governing Judea, he considered Jerusalem to be exceptionally difficult due to the turbulent nature of its people. This sets the stage for Pilate's subsequent account of the precarious situation he inherited. Pilate's account reveals the inadequacy of military resources for maintaining order in Jerusalem. Unfold later in the narrative, these concerns likely play a significant role in Pilate's decision-making process, including his handling of Jesus' trial and crucifixion. As we delve deeper into the document, we will uncover how this shortage of troops played a pivotal role in Pilate's decision to order the crucifixion of Jesus. Now let's get back to Pilate's words. Among the various rumors that came to my ears, there was one that attracted my attention in particular. A young man, it was said, had appeared in Galilee, preaching with a noble unction a new law in the name of the gods that had sent him. At first, I was apprehensive about his design to stir up the people against the Romans, but soon my fears were dispelled. Jesus of Nazareth spake rather as a friend of the Romans than of the Jews. One day, in passing by the place of Silo, where there was a great concourse of people, I observed in the midst of the group a young man who was leaning against a tree calmly addressing the multitude. I was told it was Jesus. This I could easily have suspected, so great was the difference between him and those who were listening to him. His golden-colored hair and beard gave to his appearance a celestial aspect. He appeared to be about 30 years of age. Never have I seen a sweeter or more serene countenance. What a contrast between him and his hearers, with their black beards and tan complexion. Okay, we need to comment on this as well, because I believe this is the only recorded explanation of Jesus' appearance in all historical documents. This particular interest is the description of him as having blonde hair and a beard. The inclusion of this detail raises questions about its authenticity. Was it an addition made by later scribes copying the document? Or did Jesus indeed have lighter-colored hair and beard compared to his contemporaries? My guess is it's an add-on by those who copied this document over the years, but we don't know. It's certainly intriguing. Now back to Pilate. Unwilling to interrupt him by my presence, I continued my walk, but signified to my secretary to join the group and listen. My secretary's name was Manlius. He was the grandson of the chief of the conspirators who encamped in Asia, waiting for Catalina. Manlius was an ancient inhabitant of Judea and well acquainted with the Hebrew language. He was devoted to me and worthy of my confidence. On entering the praetorium, I found Manlius, who related to me the words that Jesus had pronounced at Silo. Never have I heard in the Pedo, nor in the works of the philosophers, anything that can compare to the maxims of Jesus. One of the rebellious Jews, so numerous in Jerusalem, having asked him if it was lawful to give tribute to Caesar, Jesus replied, "Render unto Caesar the things which belong to Caesar, and unto God the things that are God's." It was on account of the wisdom of this saying that I granted so much liberty to the Nazarene, for it was in my power to have him arrested and exiled to Pontius, but this would have been contrary to the justice which has always characterized the Romans. The man was neither seditious nor rebellious. I extended to him my protection, unknown, perhaps to himself. He was at liberty to act, to speak, to assemble and address the people, and to choose disciples, unrestrained by any praetorian mandate. But this unlimited freedom granted to Jesus provoked the Jews, not the poor, but the rich and powerful. It is true that Jesus was severe on the latter, and this was a political reason, in my opinion, not to control the liberty of the Nazarene. Scribes and Pharisees, he would say to them, "You are a race of vipers. You resemble painted sepulchres." At other times, he would sneer at the proud alms of the publican, telling him, "The mite of the poor widow is more precious in the sight of God." New complaints were daily made at the praetorium against the insolence of Jesus. I was even informed that some misfortune would befall him, that it would not be the first time that Jerusalem had stoned those who called themselves prophets, and that if the praetorium refused justice, an appeal would be made to Caesar. However, my conduct was approved by the Senate, and I was promised a reinforcement after the termination of the Parthian War. Being too weak to suppress a sedition, I resolved upon adopting a measure that promised to establish the tranquility of the city without subjecting the praetorian to humiliating concession. This indicates that Pilate hesitated to crucify Jesus, opting instead to hand him over to quell the political unrest of the time and prevent potential uprisings. Now let's delve into some artifacts associated with Pilate and examine what they reveal about the death of Jesus. What does the Pilate stone say about Jesus' crucifixion? The Pilate stone, also known as the Pilate inscription, is an ancient artifact discovered in 1961 near Caesarea Maritima in Israel. It is a dedicatory inscription on a limestone block and is significant because it provides archaeological evidence of the existence of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea, who is mentioned in the New Testament accounts of Jesus' trial and crucifixion. The inscription on the Pilate stone reads, "To the divine Augustus, Tiberium Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea. Caesarea Maritima is located along the Mediterranean coast of Israel." Caesarea Maritima was a significant ancient city and administrative center during Roman times. The stone was found reused in the staircase leading up to a theater at the site. It was identified by archaeologists due to the Latin inscription carved into the limestone block. If you made it this far, we say thanks for staying, and let's hear about what you think about the acts of Pilate, whether it's legit or not. Whether it's true or not, certain things about Jesus are confirmed through historical and archaeological evidence. Was he tanned or white? Was his hair black or white? While those details may vary, what remains constant is his character, his boundless love, kindness, and the salvation he offers to everyone. Let's focus on spreading this message and growing together in faith and understanding. Stay tuned for more. Blessings to all. Folded hands.